Hi, this is Jesse from Novaquark. Welcome back to Dual Universe. This time we'll have a closer look at the building gameplay, more precisely how to build the ship that you saw in the E3 teaser, the one we see right now. This ship is only one example of what you can build. You can also create cities, orbital stations, anything. All this in a single shard sandbox, one single world shared by all players at the same time. Okay, so let's go now to build our first ship. As you can see, I'm on a planet and I'm about to deploy what we call a core unit, this blue thing in front of me. A core unit is like a starting point. When you want to build something, it's the first element that you deploy, and it will create a local matrix, a local frame for your construct. It comes in different sizes that give you access to larger building zone, but this one I choose is the smallest with a 32 meters building radius. So let's deploy it. The next thing to do is to deploy what we call shapes. Shapes are made from materials like copper or the polymer that I have just selected that you deploy in your construct to create a structure. Behind the scene it's using voxel technology, more precisely something called dual contouring, which allows you to really sculpt any shape you like. So we are not only talking about cubes here, even though it usually starts with that. Here I've selected a large size cube pencil that I will use to drag a line to build a volume of polymer, as you can see. This is going to become the front of the ship. I can activate the grid view so you can see the underlying snapping matrix better. This is a 25 centimeter grid, as you can see, which is quite precise, but you can also select larger scale grid like this, or actually even larger. All these are visual feedback to help you build, and we plan on adding more of those to help you have a better sense of space. So now let's carve out some part of this big box to start revealing the structure that will actually hold the cockpit. I'm selecting a cube pencil again, and I'm gonna use it in delete mode to select the volume to remove. And here we go. One important thing is that if you made a mistake, you can also use the undo feature like this and get back to where you were before the last action. And it works also for really big mistakes that would be impossible to undo manually otherwise, like the removal of a sphere volume, as you can see here. So it works pretty well for any situation. Let's do just now maybe just a little bit of final polish to make this look better. It's completely optional, but let's do this. I'm moving a little bit of the front part. And now let's select the cockpit. The cockpit is an element. We have already seen one element before, the core unit, but there are actually many. Elements are active components of your construct. They are given by the game design. You can't modify their look, and they provide functionality to your construct, like an engine, a weapon, a screen, etc. So the cockpit that you see, I can rotate, position how I want, remove it also. Is a variant of a more general class of elements called control units. They are used to pilot your construct, but they can also host Lua scripts to orchestrate the other elements. The cockpit is a bit special because it has an auto-configure function that will be able to analyze your ship, locate the engines and all necessary elements, and create the flight control Lua script for you. So no worry if you don't know how to script, you can still build and fly your ship. I'm finishing a bit of polish now, just using this triangle pencil, and let's go now to the back of the ship to create the part that will hold the engines and the fuel tank. So like before, let's create a volume like this, and let's carve a hole in it to be able to hold the fuel tank. Here we go. Let's cut it completely so we can see better. I'm gonna pick the tank now from the inventory. Please remember that this is pre-alpha footage. The UI is a placeholder and far from the final rendering. Anyway, so let's put this inside here, like that. So different engines will need different fuel types, so this is just one example. Now you'll have to factor also the weight of the fuel tank when designing a ship, and make trade-offs between autonomy and speed, for example. I'm going to close the space in front of the engine, and for this let me show you the surface linker tool. It's a really powerful tool, as you can see, that allow you to select two surfaces and fill the space between them with shapes. So it gives a lot of freedom in the kind of things you can easily build with the voxel tools. Looking good. Well, sort of. Now, let me start to use the jetpack. That is a very important tool for builders, as it allows you to look at your construction from above, like here. I'm adding another bit of polish, as you can see, using the line tool together with the triangle pencil, so that I can cover the top part of the ship. And now we are going to add a very important element. You can see here the directional unit. This is basically telling where the front of the ship is, which the auto configure need to know. So let's put it here. Okay. So now let's add the last and perhaps most important part, which are the engines. Here you can see I can position one engine on this side. It will get automatically connected to the fuel tank because it's just next to it. We hope in the future to have some connector units, so you could actually position the tank anywhere you want and connect it to the engine. But so far so good. Here we go. So we have the two engines connected to the fuel tank, and let me just add a last part, which is these wings. They are called decorative elements. They don't serve any purpose. They're just here to make the whole ship look good. You could do them with voxels as well, but let's say, I mean, you have a choice. You have some predefined decorative elements like that for your ship. Okay, looks good. Maybe a last final touch is that I'm going to close this opening here, sort of to protect the core unit from external attacks. And here we are. I'm going to add a last touch that is pretty cool. I like it very much, which is the fact that you can select a given color, like this red color here, and you are able to actually paint using the paint tool to paint the surface of your voxels with that color. For example, here we are going to do some stripes, so we use again this line tool to define the volume, and everything inside that volume is going to be painted in red. So I'm going to do 2 stripes like that. It's pretty easy, and it immediately render. I mean, there's a little bit of black color here due to the lighting, but there are actually 2 red stripes here. Last thing I want to do is to add adjusters. So adjusters are those tiny elements which actually are engines, but they don't require any power or any energy to be functional. They don't have a lot of thrust power, but they are essential in getting your ship to be maneuverable, because they are going to be used by the scripting and by the auto configure actually to create the forces to steer your ship in any direction, to make it turn basically. So because everything is physically based, you have to put these kind of things so that your ship actually can physically do the kind of thing you expect it to do, like turning, going up and down and so on. And that's it. I think we're pretty done now. We have a cockpit, engines, a directional unit, adjusters. Let me just remove the grid and we're good. I'm going to use the jetpack again to have a final look around. It's a pretty nice ship. And now the last thing I have to do is simply to step inside the cockpit and activate it. Up, on our way to the stars. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you liked it. Keep in mind that this is still pre-alpha gameplay. A lot of things may change until the final release. And meanwhile, let's discuss together on our social media. Don't hesitate to join the forum or the community website, and talk to you soon in Dual Universe.